Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're your source for weekly Drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
Yeah, basically we're just regular dudes drinking, well, regular beer and talking about Magic, and in this case, specifically, Magic the Gathering Arena.
That's right, and this episode is all about the Showcase 2021 that happened today. Oh boy, we have a lot of Magic to talk about. A lot of future Magic. For sure. But first, each week we both bring a beer, we drink our own, then drink each other's and rate them. Oh, wait, no. No. That's not what we're doing this week.
That's what we do.
Well, we do that. No? Usually we rate them on a scale of Bronze to Mythic, but this week is a little bit different.
Yeah, I guess we probably already know the rating, right?
Yeah, we kind of know the rating already. So, because Midnight Hump...
That's a different thing, Zach. I don't know what you're watching lately, but...
My bad. Oops. Sorry. So, because Midnight Hunt is coming out soon, we thought that we would be drinking beers that people who live in the woods, like werewolves, drink. Or more so, people that sleep in the woods, a.k.a. people that are camping. And what's the best camping beer? Kind of.
Good question.
Yeah.
We could have known that answer, this weekend.
Yeah.
Would have been helpful.
It would have been helpful. Jeff and I went camping this weekend. That's kind of where all of this came from, actually.
Yeah. Well, when you're camping, though, you don't want to drink, like, IPAs all day,
Exactly. Well, you
7%.
can't. You can't. Yeah. They're heavy, because if it's hot out, sometimes it's hard to drink an IPA. And you can't drink 7% beers all day. Like, that's just, they're not built for that.
It's tough.
Or I'm not built for that. Humans can't do this, right?
Yeah, most humans. I'm sure there's a few guys out there. But
sure.
You guys and gals out there.
But we were thinking initially, well, camping beers, usually I think silver beers, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were on the quest to figure out what is the best silver beer. What's the best beer to just drink all day?
Do we have an answer?
I don't know.
Figure it out?
No,
that sounds like we're going to have to do some experimenting.
Yeah, we're starting our quest right now. This is our silver series, is what we're going to call it.
Ooh.
All right, so Jeff, do you want to explain, first of all, what a silver beer is, and then also what we're doing tonight?
Yeah, so silver beer, we generally would explain it as it's, a macro brew, or it's a micro brew that doesn't have a ton going on. But for our silver series, I think we'll be sticking exclusively to macro brews.
Yeah.
And so what we've done today is we brought 4 different macro brews, which we'll announce in a second. And we're just going to try each of them, and then we're going to, at the end of the show, instead of coming up with a tier that we put them in, like silver, gold, or bronze, we're going to rank them.
Yeah. We're going to do the ranks as in like silver 1 to silver 4. That's basically what we're going to do.
Right.
And then hopefully we'll do a bunch of these, and then at the end we can kind of figure out which ones are the best ones, and we can pit them together. But that'll
the ultimate macro brew.
That'll be a ways away, probably.
And we might even have to push that one up into gold if when all's said and done.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe one silver gets to move up to gold. All right.
Yeah, the winner at the end of the day gets the Arena Regulars gold rating.
All right, I like that. That sounds good. So Jeff, we have 4 beers this week. Right now we are starting with Pabst Blue Ribbon, a.k.a. PBR. Yeah, and so we're drinking that right now. It tastes like...
that's what we're starting with.
It tastes like what I remember it to taste like. It's 4.9%, and you've probably seen the label a million times. It's like the hipster's beer of choice. Or, Jeff, you said it was like the cheapest keg you can find?
Yeah, when I was in college, this was the cheapest keg at the local beer store, and so every party had kegs of PBR.
Nice. Now, looking at this can, it's actually interesting that this beer was originated in 1844. That is a lot earlier than I thought it was.
Yeah.
This has been around for fucking ever. Holy shit.
If you'd told me 1944, I would have been like, that's a long time.
That's a long time. And apparently it was selected as America's best beer in 1893. That's like... So it's winning awards before the turn of the century. It
took it 50 years, though. Damn.
Yeah, that's true. It did take it quite a while. So maybe it just needed some time to get on everybody's radar. Also, I don't know how long it would take to move beer back then. Like, just trains, I guess. Or everything, it gets just shaken up.
You had to go to Milwaukee to have this gem.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah. So he had to go to Milwaukee. Anyway, I was surprised it's 4.9. I thought it was like 4. But yeah, anyway, enough talk about PBR specifically.
Yeah, everybody already knows what PBR is.
Yeah. But I mean, we're doing a little bit more research. I've never looked at a can of PBR besides opening it and just drinking it. I've never read anything on it before, so it is kind of interesting to.
Yeah, I've never really done anything other than like stab a hole in the side and then
Exactly.
bring it up to my mouth and open it there.
I feel like there was a period of time where I didn't even know what it was actually called. I just knew it was PBR. So
yeah.
Jeff, do we want to reveal the rest of the beers right now, or do we want to keep it a secret?
I think we'll reveal them as we grab them.
Ooh, that sounds fun. All right, so
Yeah.
you'll have to stay tuned to see. All right, so magic news. We don't have any specific magic news because the entire episode is magic news.
I was like, do we not have magic news, or do we only have magic
We only have magic news. So buckle up because we have things to say about stuff.
Maybe. I don't want to promise too much.
Oh, all right, perfect. So if you didn't see today, or this is the day that we're recording, the Showcase 2021 just happened, which is basically every year in August, Wizards has a big hour-long Twitch thing where they explain what the new sets are going to be for the following year, or everything past this moment. And it's where we get just teasers, mainly for art and concepts of where we're going to be in what quarters of the next year. And it's always a lot of fun because you get to be like, hey, am I excited for these things? Or there's always a huge Twitter storm of people being happy or sad or pissed or leaving the game. People are always saying they're going to leave the game.
Yeah, they're always quitting.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, so Jeff, do you want to just jump right into the good stuff? Because there's a lot of secondary, tertiary things, but it took them a long time to get to what everyone really wanted to hear. So I think we should start with the thing everyone wanted to hear, which is the standard sets next year.
Yeah, they buried the lead. We won't do that.
So there are going to be 4 standard sets in 2022, one for each quarter. This is what they normally do, and there's no core set like they did this last year. There's no core set. There's also no core set in this one, so it'll be interesting to see.
So did they talk about that, or did I miss it?
No.
Or they just didn't say anything at all, right?
They didn't mention that at all in the.
So it's unclear whether they're just not doing core sets anymore, or if it's just because it's the 30th birthday thing.
Yeah. So, but let's just get into it. So, Jeff, what's the first set that we're going to be in the first quarter?
The first set from quarter 1, 2022, will be Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
So well, first of all, how do you feel about Kamigawa, just in general?
I've always loved the idea of a Japanese mythology inspired plane, but I did not like these sets when they came out, the Kamigawa block.
I feel like I really liked them, but they were. I think all the ideas and the lore and that stuff and the actual legendary creatures were really cool. It was always just the balance and the numbers that were all off. It felt like everything was way too expensive to play, and then their stats were really low, and they just weren't strong. So I'm interested to see. Oh, also there were some weird mechanics that were what? Why is this important?
Yeah, there were some weird mechanics.
Yeah, which they kind of mentioned in this thing. So the Neon Destiny is like a cyberpunk world where we're going to Kamigawa, but I don't know, way in the future, something like 2,000 years or something in the future from the last time we were there. So I don't know how time moves in Kamigawa. Maybe it's different than it is on the other planes. Actually, I don't really know. Do all the planes move at the same time? Actually, I have no idea.
I think it's they're pretty loosey-goosey about it so that they can do stuff like this.
That's true. That's true. This just feels to be the first time where it's fairly...
maybe Teferi will have to be the planeswalker that we know that's there because he could move through time or something.
That's true. But anyway, that would be interesting, like a cyberpunk Teferi. That seems kind of cool. But anyway, so it seems really interesting. But it's another this does feel like it's treading on new ground, obviously, with a future set, right?
So actually, there was kind of a lot of stuff today that was bringing sci-fi into Magic.
Big first ones, but honestly, I'm excited.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The art was all gorgeous. Obviously, the art they're showing you is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I think this was a great idea because, and they basically said this overtly, I think, that people love the plain Kamigawa, but they didn't love the set Kamigawa.
Yes.
And so this is a way to give people what they love, but to distance it from what they hate.
Exactly. And they did mention that they were going to, like, do a lot of new stuff. There is some old, they were saying kind of mechanics still left in, but for the most part, they're really changing things. So the one thing I would hope is that ninjutsu is still in it, and then everything else can probably go. I don't know if I need anything else besides ninjutsu.
Yeah, if there's not like space ninjas, that would be shocking.
Yeah.
But
Well, we saw a picture of a ninja today. It's like I believe
Yeah,
it's a planeswalker. I don't remember their name, but they do have a robot raccoon, which seems very important. That there are
Yeah, that's
cool robot
funny.
animals. I love that.
yeah, and I don't know about you, but this was this was obviously the first new standard set that they announced from quarter one, but it like I wasn't expecting this at all. It when they said Kamigawa, I was just like, I fell out of my chair. Really? But you said you would never go back to Kamigawa.
They have said that many times that they will never go back. So it is kind of crazy that this is here. So
and I didn't see any leaks or anything. Like I saw later that people were like, "Oh, there was a leak that Kamigawa was one of the sets." I didn't see that. This blew me away.
So I had seen a leak, and I didn't tell
Okay.
really anybody. But it was like one of those random.
Thanks for not
leaks.
telling me.
You're welcome. Yes, I did. That's okay.
I mean that genuinely, by
Yes,
the way.
everyone remember. If you see leaks, just don't tell people about them because you don't know who wants to see the leaks. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited for this, and I initially didn't think I was going to, but
I'm excited because I want them to like get rid of the stigma that's around Kamigawa,
for
so
sure.
that they can do it more frequently. Because it had a lot of cool things going for it. It's just basically what you said. It had a lot of really weird mechanics, and all the balancing was off,
Yeah,
and so it didn't play very fun.
they were
But,
like interesting things that they were doing, like Bajido or something, where your creature gets bigger by a certain number if they're in combat. But most of the time, that just meant you don't block because they deal like almost no damage to a player. And so then
Right.
it takes out the interesting things of Magic, like, oh, don't ever block. And, and the last one was like, the cards in your hand matter. So it's like, don't play cards because then your creatures are better. Stuff like
Right. Like every card was crappy if your opponent had more cards in hand than you, but awesome if you had more cards in hand than your opponent. So it became things like you wouldn't play your third land or something so that you can have more cards in hand than your opponent and
Yeah.
make all your cards better.
Or you play cards that make you pick up your lands and stuff to make it stronger. It just like...
It was really weird.
It's rough, especially with not enough things that let you put extra lands into play. Like it's rough. Just if you hadn't played back then, trust me, it was super rough. And
yeah, but there was so much cool stuff that
Exactly.
you wanted to be good that just wasn't.
it just wasn't good. But so I'm pretty stoked for that. I think what I want to say about all this is that like you can be upset by anything that goes on or whatever, but like if you want to spend your time complaining about the game, that's fine. You can do that, but like I don't know, it's more fun to like stuff. You know?
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. It's more fun. I've been, through those stages of my life where I've been both sides of it, where sometimes I'm a hater and sometimes I'm a guy who just likes all the same things everyone else likes. It's way more fun to be the second guy.
Yeah. Like, there might be things where like, I don't like that much. But like, for the most part, the things that are, those things that are like kind of out there won't really affect me. And I won't really see them. I'll forget about them. And it doesn't matter. So, might as well just like have fun. And that's what this is about anyway.
Yeah, it's like my friend told me once that life's too short to pretend you don't like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I live by that.
You
I
do.
live by that motto.
Then now I live by that too. But I've also like, I was never worried about liking Taylor Swift. I always liked Taylor Swift.
That's right. But that takes me to what I really wanted to say about Kamigawa Dynasty is I can't believe they're doing this. The game's officially dead. There's no point.
Oh,
Can't
yeah.
believe it.
Like, they should just stop releasing sets anymore because Magic
Yeah.
is dead. No one wants to play
Wizards
it.
is going to go bankrupt now.
Yeah,
They
Arena
announced
is...
this.
just a cash grab, and it's way too expensive. No one plays it. That's why. Which actually, sorry, obviously we're being sarcastic, but was reminding me that like I am so happy to be a regular on Arena because all the things that people are mainly getting upset about aren't going to be on Arena.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
It doesn't even matter.
When did they announce that?
It's not going to affect me. So, hey, if you're upset by the paper products coming out, play Arena.
Yeah, join us.
Join us. We want more friends.
One of us.
All right, Jeff, what's the next?
Well, you can't really have friends on Arena. I mean, you can, but it's kind of useless. So.
Yeah, it's fun just to creep on people, but
Yeah.
Anyway, Jeff, what is the next set we're gonna get in quarter 2?
Okay, quarter 2 coming up in 2022. Streets of New Capenna.
Yeah. So what is this? What is that?
So this is like a 60s or something gangster New York kind of vibe. Or is it LA? I'm not too sure. But it's like there's mafia families. There's 5 mafia families. And they're all representing a 3-color, we're guessing a shard, but
Probably.
maybe not.
Probably shards.
Yeah. I feel like they've done a lot of the other ones recently, so it's time to go back to shards.
We haven't had shards in a while, so I think it's time to go back.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, I don't know, LA Noir or sort of New York, mafia style city.
Yeah.
With demons and, all the magic fantasy lore. Like the one art they showed looked like a demon who was kind of bursting out of his pinstripe like mafia suit, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, it's like a suit that's kind of armor, but
It was armor that had these, pinstripe mafia
totally.
suit.
Yeah, so this is it's like
embellishments.
it's like 1920s New York, like film noir, like the
Okay.
because in the 1940s that's when there was a big wave of like these black and white noir films because they thought the 20s were cool because everyone likes the thing that was cool 20 years ago. So, but yeah, it seems sweet, right? Like it's like The Godfather and Goodfellas, but like all the characters are demons, I guess, and Elspeth has something to do with it. I don't know. I was also pushed. This is the one where I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But I was like, "Holy shit! How I'm so on board almost immediately." I'm like,
I'm super excited for this one.
This one looks awesome. Like
It's hard for me to understand how this wouldn't be awesome.
like once again we're giving names to a color combination that already has a name, but they're going to be different. Probably, I mean, they must be, right? And it's all revolving around like this
We're
gritty.
the Bant family.
Yeah. We're the Grixis family. But it like is the the seedy underbelly of this kind of, I guess, another city. I also like this. So like once again, they're taking like Kamigawa is like this, the Neon Dynasty, and this one where Ravnica for a long time was the only city. Really, there were like towns in Innistrad and stuff, and other places were kind of just like villages. But this is Ravnica was like everything is a city, and that's the quintessential city set. And now we get to be like, well, a city could be like this, or a city could be like this, and I'm like, there we go. Now we could move into a new area, and I'm really happy about it. I love that. I love it.
Yeah, this seems awesome.
Yeah, seems super awesome. I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I think if someone literally just said, oh, it's going to be like a film noir thing, I'd be like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then you immediately see the artwork. You're like, nope, I'm in. It's going to be
you
sweet.
see the, like, demon crime lord or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
get it.
Is it Obnixilis? It kind of looks like him.
Yeah, it did. But it also could have just been, like, random demon. I don't know.
It could be. Or, like, I don't know, Thanos, because he's purple.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's also like, hey, like, obviously we only got to see some artwork and things about these different sets, so we don't exactly know a ton about it yet. But from the little that we know, I'm excited for this still. So
yeah, the art got me super pumped.
oh, for sure. Like it's crazy to think that just seeing a picture of something can get you so hyped immediately.
Like even just the logo for like Kamigawa and Neon Dynasty, it's like that's awesome. And same with this one. Like,
yeah, it has this different feel to it. It's just gonna be so. I'm stoked. Then coming in the summer, so this is quarter 3, we're going back to a fan favorite plane, the plane where everything got started, because it's going to be the 30th year of Magic's life, I guess. So we're going back to Dominaria. So this could be Dominaria United.
I mean, yeah, like Dominaria, when they did it a few years ago, I was trying to remember how many years ago it was now, but I guess it's like one of the first sets that's on Arena.
Yeah, it was 20...
So it hasn't been that long,
18?
but it's like 3 years.
No, that doesn't make sense. No, it was 2018. It was 2018. It was
Yeah,
right.
that
It was
sounds
right
right.
after Ixalan.
Anyways, everyone loved that set. I liked it a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's just a lot of Magic history here, so you can bring back tons of characters and, you know, really celebrate the 30 years they've had. So
Totally.
it seems like a great choice. I can't even begin to predict what we're going to see in this set.
I mean, like, are we going to get more, like, old border stuff? It seems like they're doing that more and more. So...
Oh, yeah. That kind of stuff, for sure, I would love to see, you know, with their looking back on Magic's history kind of thing.
Exactly.
But in terms of, you know, new cards in this set, what characters are going to show up, like, there's literally so many options that it's not even worth guessing.
Exactly. Also, like, who's being united? Was it separate? I don't know. Like, who?
Well, you don't know the history of
Yeah,
Dominaria.
exactly. But no, it's going to be sweet. And I mean, it's also in place of the core set. And we saw in AFR how that was supposed, like, it usually would have been a core set.
Right.
So it's just nice to see that, like, they made that set work really well. Kind of, it felt a bit like a core set. So I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with Dominaria United, being like, hey, it's also kind of a core set, though.
Maybe. I wish they had just said something about that. Like, oh, this will be replacing the usual core set. The fact that they didn't even say that makes me wonder if core sets are just out.
Yeah, I just feel like they're going to stop. They're going to be like, oh, we won't do it for a bit, and then they're just going to bring back core sets randomly. That's what
they've been back and forth on it a few times.
Exactly. So. And I don't know, are we the only ones that like core sets?
It maybe.
It kind of feels like it, a little bit. Yeah. But besides that, we don't know a ton. Like, there's some picture...
Core sets are good for new players and for Zach and Jeff. And
yeah, and the arena regulars, so let's...
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Mark. That's awesome. But let's move right along. This one blew me away. I was actually very excited.
Yeah, this one also, you know, I by the time I'd finally gotten back into my chair,
yeah,
this one came out.
After Kamigawa.
Fell right back out again.
Man, I think I was tweeting. I was just like, holy shit, are you serious?
Yeah.
So, would you want to do the honors, Jeff? Do you want to... Quarter 4.
Okay, so in quarter 4, the set is going to be the Brothers' War.
What?
Yeah.
What? Man.
Will Urza make his first appearance in a standard legal set?
Maybe. They're just going to reprint the one from Modern Horizon.
Yeah, jam him in there.
Jam him right in there.
Just like outrageously way too good for standard. But.
The Brothers' War, if you don't know, it's between Urza and Mishra, who are brothers. And they're both artificers, but they do things a little bit differently. And I don't know... The thing I'm really excited about is that I don't actually know a lot about the Brothers' War. There are a lot of cards that reflect it or talk about it. I think the first time they introduce it in Magic is in Antiquities, where they're finding... Like, there's a lot of art. That's the first time there were artifacts, I believe. Is that true?
That might be true.
Something like that. Or it was the first set that had a ton of artifacts.
It was definitely the first artifact theme set. I don't know if it was the first set that had artifacts.
No, I think...
Those might have even been in alpha.
I think they were in alpha, yeah.
Yeah.
Something... For sure they had artifacts in alpha. Anyway, don't listen to that part of what I just said, but it was the first artifact-themed set. So it was like the first brown set, quote-unquote.
Yeah.
And it was referring to the Brothers' War, which in that set had happened in the past. And then they kind of go through Urza's Saga, Destiny, Legacy, or all those ones. To kind of, I guess, tell it a little bit better, or afterwards. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know how the timeline works out. But this is apparently going to have us live through it at the period when it happened. And there are some books and stuff that back when they were making a bunch of novels, there's apparently those books are actually fairly good or people enjoy them. So if you're interested
I
in
read
more of
those
that,
books actually.
oh, did you? Oh, so you know.
Yeah, I read those books. It was interesting because Dominaria was coming out, and I was like, it'd be cool to kind of know some of the magic lore. So I bought some old books from like that I knew were Dominaria. They were set there, and I happened to buy the trilogy that was the Brothers War.
Wow.
So it prepared me not at all for the Dominaria set that came out. But now
Here you
who's
go.
laughing?
All
'Cause
right.
when this set comes out, I'm gonna know some of the stuff that happened, but it was a long time ago, so I kind of forget.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Okay. Well, did you like the books then?
I did like them more than I thought I was going to, yeah. Because
Well-
magic books just have this reputation as being bad, and I was like, these actually aren't that bad.
Yeah. I like to have most of my expectations be like that. We're like, oh, it's probably a bit bad, and then you're like, oh, it's actually not that bad. I liked it. It was enjoyable.
Is that how you felt about War of the Spark? Or
No, not that book. No, I had high hopes for that book, and that book was just terrible. But it was also like there was a lot of other problems with that. I don't want to get into it right now, but
let's get back to the Brothers War. You're right.
yeah,
you're
but
right.
the Brothers War, it just seems like exciting because it just seems it's just like these huge characters that have been talked about forever, and there's all these different baubles and things named after them, and all this stuff, and I am finally excited to be part of that set and like get to do it. I don't know. It seems like a piece of magic
Yeah,
that is missing
It's
in
gonna be
my
like
brain.
Mishra in this set,
Yeah.
Urza. There's probably gonna be Yawgmoth.
Yeah, all of that stuff, like telling you the whole story. Apparently, it's telling the story of the Brothers' War not from one of their perspectives, but from an outsider who's kind of in the fray, I guess.
Yeah, that's what you would want, I think. The books jump back and forth between their perspectives.
Yeah, and this will just be like somebody's like, "Yo, those brothers, they don't like each other very much. I think there's going to be a war," and I think that's the whole story, actually.
Right. So I do have one concern, though. So there are two things that are combining here to make a concern in my mind.
All right.
The first one is this whole Throne of Eldraine experience. You know, having the fall set be super uber powerful. And then the second one is that it's almost certainly going to be an artifact themed set. And if I've learned anything about artifact themed sets, it's that they're always freaking busted.
Yeah.
Every time. So this one has me a little concerned that it's just going to take over standard for 2 years. But you know what? That's future Jeff's problem.
Yeah, exactly. This brings up a point that I am wondering if this will happen. So, because we have Midnight Hump, wink wink, and Crimson Vow, these are two set. Normally, this would just be a fall with one set, and then we would continue, and rotation would be next September when the next set comes out. We lose last year. However, because we have these two sets now, there will be an extra set once we go to rotation, and there'll be an extra one for that whole rotation. So are we going to rotate early? Because also, if Dominaria United and the Brothers War are both set in Dominaria, don't you think they would want to keep them together in Standard as long as possible?
For sure.
So that maybe we're going to actually rotate when Dominaria United comes out in the summer, and then we're going to start a new rotation that starts in the summer instead of in the fall.
Maybe.
Because then you can start each rotation with the core set would be the first one, or whatever would replace core sets, or all that kind of stuff. Also, maybe it makes things more interesting in the summertime when people aren't playing Magic as much. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
it'll only dominate standard for like,
like
20 months
yeah,
instead or whatever.
like 3 months less. It'll be a little bit less. But it's possible. We'll see.
Well, that's a load off my chest.
Yeah, I just thought maybe you should. I don't know if this is true. I was just thinking about it because it seemed weird to be like, hey, let's have Dominaria United and the Brothers War, and then in a year you only get the Brothers War. Buy Dominaria United.
Yeah.
It just seemed kind of strange. Why would you plan it that way?
I agree.
Yeah. So,
I think you're onto something.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
First time for everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so through all this stuff, number one, super hyped. I also went into this not wanting to be hyped about anything because I'm like, new stuff always.
Yeah.
I don't need more new stuff. But I look at everything, I'm like, fuck, it's just, I know it's a ways away, but it's going to be great when it happens.
Every one of these is a freaking banger. That was the thing. Like, last year when we had the same thing, it's like, okay, going back to Zendikar, Zendikar's okay, I guess. I'm fine with that. Then it's, this new Viking set. That's probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Then there's like, there's the Harry Potter set.
It's like, ugh,
Okay,
I'm not really happy with that.
Sure. And then it's like D&D. Oh, I'm not a D&D fan, but I understand the significance. And then Innistrad, right? It's like, okay, you know, you had some highs and lows, I guess, in terms of excitement. And then this one is just, they all seem awesome.
Yeah, honestly, the one that I'm least excited about is Dominaria United. Because I'm like, oh, well, we had Dominaria before, so...
Yeah, I already get that.
Yeah.
I know what that's about.
So...
I already know that that's going to be good.
Yeah, so, like... I love that it's, like, 3 planes that we've been before, and then... Well, kind of. It's, like, Dominaria and Kamigawa, we've been there before.
2 planes, I guess.
The Brothers' War is, like, a story... It's a piece of time. Again, it's, like, going back in time. When Kamigawa is the future. Interesting. And then we get to one new plane. And then each year we kind of do that. I'd be down with that kind of cycle of like, yeah, we go back to the places often, but we introduce a new one every year. And then they can focus...
Maybe in order for Kamigawa to go ahead 2,000 years, it had to take that time from another plane.
Oh,
shit. Took it away from Dominaria.
And now Dominaria's back in time? That would be fucking crazy. That'd be crazy.
I don't know how they would get that across in the cards,
but that's fine. The one thing I want to mention about this whole thing is that where's new Phyrexia? Weren't we like building towards some Phyrexian thing? I guess Kaldheim felt like it, and then Strixhaven didn't do anything with it. D&D obviously didn't. I don't know what's going to happen in the Innistrad sets, but I was thinking we were building up to some new Phyrexia, but maybe after the Brothers' War, then we're going to reintroduce Phyrexians in that, because that's kind of when they came, right? Isn't that around the time?
Yeah, so it's...
That was happening?
The Brothers' War, it had to do with Phyrexians, for sure.
So then maybe in 2023, in Q1, we'll get new Phyrexia, because we kind of reintroduced all of it. You know, it's fresh. And so then we get 2 huge artifact sets, one after the other.
We just get artifact standard.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, that's what happened when Urza's Block was around. It was like 3 artifact sets in a row, right?
Exactly.
Or I guess Mirrodin was the same thing.
Yeah, Mirrodin is the same thing, so...
And we all know those weren't known for being super broken.
No, absolutely not. It was really
No.
easy. Like, if every deck can play the best cards, that's fine. That's not a problem.
Just the fairest time in Magic, those 2 standard seasons.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, those are my main thoughts for the standard sets. Like, and those are the ones that are going to affect us the most on Arena. That's why I kind of wanted to start with that.
No, good call. I mean, and just get me hyped for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Because those are all awesome.
Exactly. Like, I know that I don't always want to be like rainbows and sunshine. I mean, like, obviously not everything is like that. But like, this one was exceptionally good. I think you're right with last year seemed like, and this one was like, I got out of my seat after you fell out of your seat. I got up out of my seat and was just like,
that's the right way to do it.
Tweeting. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to see things and talk to people about this right now. And I felt like everyone I knew hadn't watched it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Why did Zach text me Kamigawa Demon Crime Families Brothers War? Question mark. Exclamation point.
Freaking out like Home Alone emoji. Anyway, Jeff, how's your PBR? Did you just like slam this back?
Oh, it's done. Yeah.
All right. Well,
but yeah.
I think we should just get to
if
the.
You
next
need a little more time. I guess that's okay.
No. This is going to be gone in a second. All right, great. Well, let's. I'm going to slam this back, and then I'm going to grab another silver beer and slam that back, because that's what you do with silver beers.
For sure.
Just slam them. All right, let's go to a beer break.
Slam them.
Oh, did you already open your beer?
No, what do you mean?
All right, Jeff, what's the next silver beer up for tonight?
So I actually got something a little exotic this week to bring to the show.
Oh, nice.
Labatt Bleu.
Bleu. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, French.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's right.
Nice. Very nice.
It is 5%. It's been a quality brewing since 1847.
These beers are so old.
I know, they're so much older than I thought they were.
But they
no wonder they're like grandfathered in, you know.
Yeah. They taste fresh though, you know. I can't believe that this is that old. Like that's a
I know. It's like feel like they made this beer like 6 months ago.
Yeah, but they made it a couple centuries ago. So nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Anyway, no, of course this is Labatt Blue. which you've definitely heard of before. However, I think this is more of a Canadian thing than from the States. I definitely knew about it, but I didn't see it as much. And
Yeah, when I was in like New York and stuff, they would have it.
yeah,
It looked exactly like this, but it would say imported on the can.
right,
Fuck off. It's imported from like over there.
Yeah, so it looks like the name. So I think that the actual like John Labatt maybe was making beer in 1847, but when I looked up on their website, it said Labatt Blue was introduced in 1951 as Labatt Pilsner. And then later, it was named by the fans of Winnipeg Blue Bombers to be Labatt Blue for that reason.
There you go.
Which was surprising to me. But this...
It's cool to have an official beer for your team, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if all of the Bombers fans know that, but hey, look at that. That's also what I like about researching these beers. I would never have ever even Googled remotely.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. And then it was also the first brand in Canada to have a twist-off top. So, yeah, kind of cool.
Breaking ground.
Crazy. Anyway, that's what Labatt's website says, but pretty interesting stuff. I'm just happy that I spent like a moment just looking up some of these beers because I'm like, I wonder. Anyway, silver. I did want to also mention...
Gold.
Oh, that's true. That it could be gold eventually. Maybe not by the end of the night, but by the end of whenever we finish this. I don't know how long it's going to take.
By the end of several nights.
Yeah. I also want to say one of the reasons why we're doing the silver series is because Innistrad's moon is made of silver. So there you go. It ties in.
Did we forget to mention that?
It ties into magic somehow. It works. Yeah. Just trust us. It works. Yeah. Moving right along. All right, more of the Showcase 2021 stuff. So along with the standard sets that we just talked about, there's a bunch of other crap happening. But, you know...
a whole lot of other crap.
As usual, that is what Magic does. There's always something going on.
Always something to preview.
Yeah. So what's the first, like, the biggest thing people are talking about that, of course, it's going to make a big splash?
That would be Universes Beyond, I would say.
Yeah, I think so, too.
So if you don't remember what Universes Beyond are, I mean... Sort of D&D was kind of one, but not really because it's part of Wizards. But the idea is that Magic and other universes, mix and match. And they announced last year, I think, that they were going to be doing one with Warhammer 40,000 and with Lord of the Rings. And so today we actually got a bit more detail about what those collaborations will be.
Yeah, exactly. So we had heard, I think there were some rumors that Warhammer was going to be just Commander things, and it is, which is great. So it's just like they're going to be Warhammer Commander decks, pre-constructed ones, pick it up with your favorite faction or whatever. Anyway, I don't really know a ton about Warhammer, but I always thought the Space Marines looked super cool. So that's actually the thing that, like, I don't know, I don't always buy stuff in paper anymore because I've been playing a lot of Arena, and I don't actually get to use my cards very often, but... Hey, I have thought about getting the Space Marine Commander deck because I'm like, that'd be kind of fun just to have a precon that's like, yeah, these are all Space Marines. I don't know. They have guns.
Totally.
I'll blow up your...
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I don't have a lot to say either, except that I also don't know much about Warhammer 40K. In fact, I knew so little that when they previewed it, I was like, wait, what is that? Because I thought it was StarCraft.
Oh, really?
So it was like the Space Marine guys. I was like, yeah, that's StarCraft for sure.
Right?
I actually thought Warhammer 40K was like fantasy stuff.
Oh.
Because I could swear I've seen some games on like Steam that were Warhammer, and they were definitely like fantasy RPG style.
Yeah, so I think that Warhammer is like really, it's huge, right? It's a miniature. If you don't know, Warhammer is like a miniature game where you buy these little metal miniatures and you paint them yourself. So half of the hobby is painting your miniatures, which I always thought I was going to be terrible at, and I still think that. So that's one of the reasons I've never played it. Also, I'm not really good at the armies. Like, you have a big table full of, and you move your armies around, and I was never good at those, and I didn't care for them.
So it's like a board game, but you customize and collect your own pieces, kind of?
You don't really collect them, you just buy them, because you can just buy whatever, and then paint whatever ones you have. And they can be whatever.
So you get to customize them.
You get to customize them, so you can paint them whatever. They have, like, these are the colors for this if you want, but you can also do whatever you want.
I see. That's pretty cool.
And then they all have different, like, vehicles and stuff, and all of them have stats depending on what they are. and I know that you have to use like a measuring tape to see how far they can move. It's very technical and like long. There's a ton of rules, but it's if you enjoy painting I don't know. I've thought my fiance really likes paint by numbers, so I've thought about buying her Warhammer stuff many times, being like, I could see her wanting to paint little things
It's like
on
3D
a miniature.
paint by numbers.
Exactly, but these are the paints, you can do whatever you want, There's also, I did this for a movie, getting off topic. I didn't think I was going to talk this much about Warhammer, but there was a movie I was in where I was like a huge nerd. Big stretch for me. Like, oh,
Yeah,
man,
how'd you get that far?
I don't know. But anyway, one of the things was like I was showing off to this girl I liked a miniature I had made. And so I asked the director if I could actually paint the miniature myself. And boy, was that hard. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It is really difficult.
It sounds hard. I don't know why you're acting like it's a surprise that it's hard.
Yeah, I don't. Well, just because I guess I did it. It looked okay, but there are some cool techniques where you like mix the black with water, and then you kind of pour it on certain parts, and then you dab off the top of it, so the black only fits into the crevices to give it like a depth.
Outline it.
Yeah. And some other interesting watercolor-ish or paint techniques that I didn't even know existed. So that was pretty interesting learning some more about that. But
Nice.
anyway, as far as Magic goes, yeah, cool, whatever.
I wonder if the 40K is like 40,000, and that's why this one's in the future, but the Warhammer stuff I was seeing is not that far in the future or whatever.
Maybe. I always thought Space Marines were part of it. I've looked at the boxes many times at game shops. Because I was like, man, that looks super cool, but I could never play that game because it looks really fucking hard.
Obviously, I just don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm like, I know so little about this that I didn't even know the genre. I thought it was like fantasy, and thought it was high fantasy or whatever, and it's, sci-fi.
Yeah. But in any case, it's not coming to Arena. It's just Commander decks. So have fun with that, I guess. But this next one...
I hope people enjoy them.
Yeah, exactly. This next one is going to be legal in things more than Commander, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, so I guess it's like a full set, and it's going to essentially play the role of these straight to modern sets we've been getting. That was kind of my understanding.
So this is the Lord of the Rings set, and apparently it's modern legal, and it's also going to be on Arena and MTGO. Obviously MTGO because Modern's on there, but on Arena it's going to be historic legal. So you can play Gandalf in a historic whenever this comes out.
I don't know. That sounds cool.
That does sound cool. I like Lord of the Rings. I think the reason that they decided to make it legal because it's also legal in like Vintage and Legacy and Commander and all those the normal ones. But as far as modern goes and historic, like Lord of the Rings is basic. It's like D&D. It's like it's high fantasy. It's like magic.
Right.
It's just an elf. That
Yeah,
you
it
have a
matches
name for.
the setting of magic already.
Yeah, it's not going to look as weird. It's like, all right, well, you have Gandalf the White, and he's going to be. Actually, I think I saw this on Twitter. Someone was like, "Oh, Gandalf the White, like, there's no way, like, that card's going to be great, but it's a white card, so it's never going to be banned." And somebody else was like, "Oh, no, Gandalf the White is going to be a blue card, obviously."
They have to make it good. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's probably going to be blue-green.
Yeah, no, it's gonna fuck. He's gonna be blue green. But anyway, yeah. I mean, all for it. I liked those movies. I know people obviously love the books, and it doesn't seem that weird. They're just named dwarves, or elves
And they're
or
also
whatever.
like, they're definitely just edging us into this. It's like, first we'll give you a D&D set. That's not that unusual. We own it. It's a very similar world. Now we'll give you a full Lord of the Rings set. That's not that weird. Like, it's a little bit more of a stretch than D&D.
Yeah, it's also
but
not-
come on, it's still fantasy.
Yeah, it's not standard legal, so whatever.
Yeah.
I get that there's probably pressure from Hasbro and stuff, and a lot of people are making the jokes of like, oh, in the future every card's going to be only recognizable from like the merchandise from other IPs that we're getting, and all the jokes about, oh, your creature has to eat a Big Mac before it can get +3/+3 and kill whatever. I get it. I understand that.
It's easy territory for jokes.
Yeah.
So of course, a lot of them are going to be made.
Sure, and they're kind of funny jokes too. But at the same time, it's definitely not the same thing. I can see the comparison between like Monopoly, I guess, where it's like, hey, there's this Monopoly, which is a game, obviously, and there's a bunch of different versions you can get that twist. They have their own little spin on it, and you get to play characters that are different things or whatever.
That's always been what Magic was, anyways, right? It's a game, but then every set is like a sub game that uses the same base rules but puts its own twist on it.
Exactly. Also, if you want to go super far back, if you're talking about Richard Garfield, he literally built an engine around these tropes or whatever, but his initial vision for the game was that each set would be independent from all the other sets, and each set would have a different card back, so you wouldn't be able to play them together. And each world you would go to would be completely different. So the first expansion is Arabian Nights, which is, just a story lifted from history, or, it's like an old tale. And they just made cards for that.
Or a lot of old tales, I think.
Yeah. So, like, if you want to try to go back as far as to say the person who invented Magic wouldn't want this to happen, I don't know if you're right. I think that he would have wanted
Now the
this.
joke, as Richard Garfield intended, is like actually serious and not sarcastic.
Exactly. I think he would be like all for it. He'd be like, yep, you can play all these different things. Isn't that fun? Magic is actually an engine. It has pieces that have mechanics and do things, but you can slap on whatever colors that you want on top. And it will work in many different ways, which is the great thing about it. And we get to see all these cool things in the game we like. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me too much.
It doesn't really bother me at all, right? Like, hey, if the Lord of the Rings set they release is awesome, then hey, that's an awesome Magic set. Like,
great.
And I feel like they're gonna put a lot of work and thought into these, and you're gonna get some cards that are like, oh, cool, that's good flavor.
Exactly. And if it brings other people to the game, that's always nice as well. And we'll have to see. It will be kind of funny playing with,
Look at Twitter. Look at how many people it's driving away from the game.
Oh, but they're not really leaving. They never really leave. No one ever really leaves. So I think this is...
Hasbro knows that.
Yeah, exactly. I also think this is a good time to just jump straight to like the secret layer stuff as well, because secret layers in the past have already done this. I think one of our first episodes on the podcast, we were talking about The Walking Dead. Which was the secret layer that blew up everything, and people were like, "Oh, Magic's dying," and there were some content creators that were trying to create a new commander format that was called like General or something, so that you could play every card except those cards, because the commander advisory group or the committee or whatever would not ban them outright.
Cowards.
It's just these are the kinds of things that just happen. But it's also like nothing's happened since then. I haven't seen a single person be like, Rick beat me really badly in this game, and I can't believe he's a card or blah blah whatever. Number one, I don't think anyone has those cards because they couldn't buy them because they were only available for like a day or whatever. And it's nothing's happened. I don't know. So there's what are the two new secret layers that we're getting basically that more people are up in arms again about, as usual?
Okay. The first one, for trying to remember what order they announced these in, I think the first one was Fortnite.
Yeah.
So Fortnite is a little different. I'm not sure if this is the one people are upset about or not, but it's hard for me to imagine because it's just reprints of Magic cards that already exist, but the art and I guess overall design of like the card frame maybe are going to be inspired by Fortnite.
Yeah. But you know what would be cool?
So it's going to have these bright Fortnite colors and whatnot.
Exactly. And whatever. Like, cool. So it's like some of your Thalia might be dressed as, I don't know, like a bear or something. Like a
roller skating
bear or something.
Yeah.
Sure. Like, okay. Like, whatever. Maybe that's...
If you don't like it, don't buy that one.
You don't need to. There are Magic counterparts. That's fine. Also, hey, think about all the parents that, like... What if your kid's, like, 12, right? And you're having a really hard time connecting with them, and you really like this game, and you're like, man, I just want to be able to connect with my kid better. They play this stupid game that I think is terrible, and it's just like so lame. But then your favorite game comes out with cards that look like that game, and then your kid gets interested in the game that you like, and then you might not love that, but there's a shared connection, and you get to have a moment, even if it's just an afternoon, of sitting down with your kid, and you get to kind of share in both of your interests, and maybe you both kind of bridge a little bit closer, and maybe then you play Fortnite a little bit more, and maybe then they play Magic a little bit more, and then you can have this thing. I think that's great. Like, how is that bad?
You paint quite the tale there.
Yeah, it seems nice.
Paint quite the picture.
Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I won't buy them. But
they should do more.
I hope other people
I want more
and enjoy them.
I want SpongeBob ones. I want Paw Patrol cards. I want all of them. And then the next one, which is, I don't know, I don't think people are actually mad about this one at all. But it's Street Fighter.
That's because it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Once again, with these, like, when you play Arena, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't... Besides,
Maybe these will be purchasable art, like if all the cards were on Arena.
yeah.
Like for the Fortnite one, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe there's
maybe.
a Fortnite bundle and you can buy the skins or whatever.
But, like,
again,
whatever.
if you don't like them, don't buy them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so Street Fighter is another one. Sick. So these are going to be unique cards. So they have not been reprints. You're just going to get like new characters that are in the game. However, within 6 months or whatever, they've said that they're going to print a magic version of that card, and that card can be found in the list, which is in like set boosters. Or
I
whatever.
see.
Well, the list is not the best way to reprint things, but at least they do have ones if you want them.
Yeah, but they can't just put Chun-Li in the Lord of the Rings set, you know? Like,
Yeah. So
they have, the list is like the only way,
yeah.
basically.
So yeah, I think it's also cool. I didn't really. Did you play a lot of Street Fighter? I didn't really play any Street Fighter. I always thought they.
I was
cool,
a Mortal
though.
Kombat guy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When are we? That's what I want. Mortal Kombat Secret Lair. I want fatalities. I need to be a black spell that's called Fatality or something. Or
No, you're not dreaming big enough. We need the full, like, modern legal Mortal Kombat set. You know?
how sick would that be though? It would be so awesome. You get all the different ninjas, and they have like some of them have ninjutsu and all this stuff, and then like
Oh, yeah.
oh fuck, and then like when you play, it could be like
There'd be a spell called Get Over Here, for sure.
oh, absolutely. Are you kidding
And it's
me?
like an act of treason type of thing.
Oh, but then it perpetually has like less health or something when you give it back.
Yeah.
They should just do that on Arena. That'd be sweet. Not only that, but I think like if they do their fatalities, what if it's like Scorpions up, down, left, right, A, B, B, A? You know,
That's just the name
that's
of the
the name of the card.
Hey, that way I could learn how to do those fatalities, too.
That's true. That's very true. I actually am pretty mad at myself that I said A, B, B, A instead of X square triangle, and because I play PlayStation.
No, man, you're clearly an Xboxer.
That was back when I was playing in like I don't know Super Nintendo.
No, we're talking Super Nintendo days.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So it's okay.
But anyway, yeah. So Secret Lairs barely affect anybody, but the Mortal Kombat one would be amazing. So please give it to us. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've never bought a Secret Lair, but I might buy that one. But might is also pretty strong. I might. It depends on how.
I won't buy it, but I will love that you make
I'll proxy it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, let's just keep this train rolling.
Where do you want to jump to next?
Ooh, how about Jumpstart? Wow, you know what's really fun?
There we go.
When you're waiting for a set to come out, that they come out with a second version of that
It's
same
like
set.
Yeah. they announce like another Innistrad set before this one even comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we're going back to Innistrad next fall too? Wow. Well, I would just hope that I don't even know what the fuck's going on with the one we're about to have. Anyway, obviously this announcement was made before they knew that they had to push the Innistrad set.
They thought we would be currently loving Jumpstart
Yeah.
Historic Horizons and just want more Jumpstart.
But
when this
instead,
came out.
we have to wait till Thursday, the day this episode comes out, to play Jumpstart Historic Horizons. So it just felt kind of funny to be like, hey, you know, everyone loves Jumpstart. There's going to be another paper one. It's probably going to be on Arena again, too. Just keep saving your gold up because, you know. Anyway, I don't have a ton to say about it. Like, you know, Jumpstart's what it is, and there doesn't seem to be anything special about this one.
The only thing I have to say about this one is they said one of the packs was going to be Eldrazi themed, and I hated that.
Yeah, that fucking sucked. But, I mean, there was supposed to be, like, a really exciting thing, but I was like, God damn it.
How about Eldrazi? I was like, oh, no.
Oh, wow. But,
Now I can't play Historic anymore because it's going to be too weird.
yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm still not completely convinced.
That wasn't a problem the format already had.
Yeah. Let's see. We only have a couple more things. I quickly wanted to touch on they're going to be Pioneer Challenger decks that we're getting.
Okay, this was surprising as hell to me.
I was like,
What did you?
No,
Like,
I was
what did
like-
you think when they put this ad on? They just kind of put an ad. They're like, hey, buy these Pioneer Challenger decks, and they're 4 pre-constructed decks in paper that are based on like competitive Pioneer decks.
Yeah. I was like, what?
And I was like,
What the fuck? I thought we were getting rid of Pioneer altogether. Wasn't that the plan?
so wait, they're trying to sell me competitive Pioneer decks now, but I thought competitive Magic and Pioneer were dead.
They are.
What the hell is this?
They are both dead. So, like, that was really strange. However, I do want to say that Orzhov Auras is one of the decks. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, so's Mono Red, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, also, they do have the. If you're interested in these things, if you play Pioneer, do your thing.
Hey, they seem cool. Like
these will be sweet.
You know, actual competitive decks that you can buy out of the box is great. It's just like, I don't know where you're going to play them.
Exactly. But you can actually look at the deck list right now. If you go to the announcement and all that stuff, you'll find it. And because I had to see what the list was for Orzhov Auras, and it is not awesome. It is okay. It's
Okay.
different. It's different.
Does it have 4 SRAM at least?
It does, yeah. So it has 4 SRAM. It has.
Because you know Pioneer has no core Spirit Dancer.
I know, and that's why I was like, they're also not playing Kaya's Ghost form, which I feel like is a mistake. But I guess all the other cards, like every other creatures, like the dog or the Alseid or all that kind of stuff, and Karametra's Blessings in it and all that, you probably won't get the most value out of the Auras one. There is a Luris, however, so that's good. But Mono Red has 4 copies of Bone Crusher Giant, so I'm like, oh, okay, like that's not terrible. Like, anyway, go check them out if you're interested.
Does this mean that they're not like Pioneer still on their mind? Because I thought they just totally abandoned it.
Maybe this was already a product that they had, and they're like, we might as well just release it because we put too much money into labor to build it that we have to get some of that back. So just release it and see how much money we can get back. But they've already said they're not doing Pioneer Masters on Arena, so Pioneer's not coming to Arena.
They've already abandoned that project, right? So
however, Historic is this crazy format right now that's like not going to be competitive. So maybe
they're just hedging their bets. Like
maybe they are trying to keep Pioneer because they're going to put Lord of the Rings into Modern and just be like, oh, but Pioneer doesn't have it, so Pioneer can be like the new competitive.
So it's legal in like everything except Standard and Pioneer.
Yeah,
that's weird.
And yeah, anyway, I have no idea.
I just didn't understand, and they didn't explain it at all because it was just an ad that they threw in between other announcements, and I was like, "You're not going to comment on
at all
competitive Pioneer decks?"
No? Okay. Anyway, we also finally we got news about this. Holy crap! It has been forever.
I mean, we got like a status update on how far along they were.
Yes, but we got a bit more. Like from just like outside articles for a long time of just people kind of talking about it. We finally had them be like, hey, we're going to sit down and talk about the Netflix animated series for the first time.
Whoa.
I'm stoked for this. I don't know about you.
Yeah, they saved this till the end, so this was the big hitter.
I was hoping we were actually going to see like a trailer or something, but it doesn't seem like they're that far along.
Just like a super teaser, you know?
But
like 10 seconds.
Yeah, they did show some concept art. Apparently, Gideon is going to be the main character, which is actually I do like Gideon quite a bit. Actually, I don't know if other people like him or don't like him or whatever, but I did have at one point a commander deck about Gideon riding vehicles because I thought it was funny, so I do. Gideon has a soft spot in my heart.
There was a standard deck about that. Yeah, it was just Gideon and Heart of Kiran.
Yeah, and
it just whooped your ass by turn 4. Is that the deck you're talking about?
No, it was a commander deck with every Gideon and every vehicle that was okay. And the idea was to turn Gideon into a creature to crew vehicles, and that was basically it.
Yeah, no, this one takes the counter off Gideon with the Heart of Kiran and then attacks you with both.
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's a lot better. This one's not like that at all. But anyway, so the one thing that I thought was cool is that we did get to see a little video that was on the phone of the actor that plays Gideon,
right?
Who does the voice.
Brandon
Routh.
Ruth?
So Routh? Brandon Routh. If you're not familiar with him, he played Superman. He played Superman in Superman Returns. He was also in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He's one of the evil X's, but the reason he was in that movie was because he was Superman. And he's in a few other things as well. But he had a little nice thing to say. I was surprised it was just on his phone while he was holding it outside. It's kind of strange, but apparently he plays Magic, so that's good.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's. I think the only other info we got is like Jace is going to be in it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that counts as information because obviously Jace is going to be.
Yeah.
There's no world where Jace wasn't in it.
So this must be some story. Apparently, it's just kind of independent from where we are and stuff, because obviously Gideon's dead. So, sorry, spoilers. I don't know if anyone didn't know that already, but Gideon died at War of the Spark.
Yeah.
So it must be
Statute
some
of limitations on that one.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
Like 2 rotations ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so it must be some story from earlier that Gideon and Jace are trying to get the Gatewatch together, or hopefully something different that's not about the Gatewatch. That would be great. So I'm not sure exactly.
The whole Gideon dying thing did remind me of something that I'm just remembering now. But the Streets of New Capenna mafioso set we were talking about earlier, they said that that plane was very important to Elspeth
Yeah.
for some reason.
So is that like
That was-
part of the underworld? Like,
I don't know.
is she?
Is that where her spark ignited or whatever?
But like, she's from Theros, right? So like,
She's
would
from, or sorry, is that the first plane she traveled to? I mean, spark
maybe
ignited.
that's where she showed up right when she's ignited her spark.
yeah.
Because we never. Actually, no, we don't really know. Is she really from Theros though? Because she
I
was
thought so, but maybe not.
the
Maybe
first
she's
wasn't
from
her
there.
first card in like Scars of Mirrodin, and then
Yes.
yes. So maybe I don't know. Maybe she is from New Capenna. I did like the Chris.
Elspeth is a planeswalker from an unknown plane dominated by Phyrexians.
So is New Capenna?
So she was in Scars of Mirrodin because she was coming to help because she knew the Phyrexians had what they could do.
That makes sense.
I guess.
Okay. So maybe this could have been her first plane, and maybe there's Phyrexians there. Or, well, I guess the place isn't destroyed. So
Now the Phyrexians are all tying together through all the
okay,
sets.
all right, I see it. Maybe. I would like to note this was probably the funniest tweet of everything I have seen today. Obviously, there's a bunch of like
I'm excited.
backlash, but Chris Patello tweeted. It's like he was saying something like,
That guy's always meddling.
yeah. So Chris Patello was like, this is day 0, or it was like day number 1 of 0 mentions of when we're going to get old Capenna. When are we going to go to old Capenna? And I was like, oh my God. That's so funny.
That guy's hilarious.
Because now it's just going to be, everyone's going to be like, well, if there's new Capenna, when are we going to go to old Capenna?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was great. I was like,
Is he going to keep that count up?
I hope he does. Like every so often, it's gonna be like, all right, day 76, no mentions of when we're going back to old Capenna or whatever. So anyway, it was just a nice little
And
breather.
we live near York, so
Yeah. So
based on New York.
Hey.
So maybe Old Capenna is based on York.
maybe Old York. Old York.
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing? What's Old York? Like a
I feel like that's like a Old York
is that a
hotel. I think there's
The
a
Old
hotel
York
in Toronto called the Old York Hotel.
the Old York? I think it might be. I think there is.
It's like right across from Union, maybe.
No,
that-
that's the
that
Royal
fancy
York.
hotel there.
That's the Royal.
Royal York, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe I feel like Old York something. I don't know. Anyway, to finish our history of Toronto hotels,
This Labatt Bleu has really got
Yeah.
into my system.
it's getting there. There was one last thing with the Magic the Gathering, the animated series, which I believe that's what it's actually called, the title. Which, take it or leave it.
There's too many colons.
Yeah. There is
Magic,
going.
colon, the gathering, colon, the animated series.
So there's going to be a prequel to the animated series that is a novel that comes out when the series comes out. So when you watch the first episode, you can buy the book, read that, and see what happened beforehand. Number 1, hope it's good. Number 2, maybe this is a Drunken Vorthos episode in the making.
Oh, it definitely is.
So apparently the series is supposed to come out at the end of 2022, so kind of fall to winter-ish time. So maybe a little over a year from now we'll be talking about this. I'm pretty stoked.
I had totally forgotten about this, and then when I heard the Netflix logo, I'm like, oh yeah, that cool. Let's get some info.
They did a really great thing at the beginning. I think they did, like, there was the sound, right? They're like, oh, and we have something else for you at the end. And then they just went, bum, bum. And it was like the Netflix sound. And I was like, oh, shit. I am hyped for this. Thank you, Jimmy Wong, for putting that little thing in there. Obviously, he didn't write the whole thing, so it doesn't matter. But anyway.
We don't know that for sure.
We don't know that. You're right. We don't know that. Yeah, Jimmy. But yeah, anyway, I think that's at this moment. I think I'm ready for another silver beer.
Yeah, me too.
Get yourself a Coors Light.
Yeah, it's an interesting beer we've brought this time.
Yeah. So Coors Light, obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone's.
I mean, the first silver series had to have the silver bullet.
Oh, okay, all right. That's nice. It's also ties into Innistrad. Wow, look at how nicely this works.
Yeah, because silver bullets kill vampires or werewolves or something.
They kill werewolves.
Okay, silver kills werewolves.
Yeah.
Like, I would be so screwed if I went to Innistrad. I would be like pounding a steak into a werewolf.
It's like, why won't you die? Yeah.
Throwing garlic at it.
Anyway, Coors Light is the can that thinks you don't know how cold your beer is.
Yeah. I just love that their whole marketing is like, we're cold. It's like, well, any beer can be cold.
Yeah, but we turn blue when we're cold. And you're like, but do you actually turn blue when you're cold?
It's like, hey, Molson, Coors, how does your beer taste? It's cold.
It's cold, though. It's cold Rocky Mountain water. Which, I kind of like that,
Oh, yeah, this is a beer from your hometown, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Rocky Mountains, or at least the foothills in the Rocky Mountains. So it saying stuff like that gets me on board a little bit.
Yeah.
It is 4%, and of course, as we talked about each of the other beers and when they originated and all those kinds of things. So apparently Coors Light started in 1978. So much
brand new.
Yeah, super brand new. But yeah, I'm sure there was Coors before this, but the actual light version is 78. So more things I didn't know, but happy to have known. I don't know what else to say. I guess it's from the Rocky Mountains, and then now it has joined with Molson, like you were saying, Molson Coors. And I think they make this in Alberta now because they're going to keep the whole Rocky Mountain thing. I believe so, but I also don't super know because the can doesn't give me a lot of information. It's just got a pair of sunglasses.
It might be one of those things that the Canadian ones are brewed in Alberta and the American ones are brewed,
for sure.
Colorado or something.
But they taste the same, right? So
yeah, it's all exactly the same. It's like getting McDonald's one place or another.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Catherine has said that Canadian McDonald's was different than in the States. And obviously, I think McDonald's...
It's more expensive.
I think McDonald's might be a bad example because McDonald's is in many places in the world, and the menu is drastically different. So,
yeah, but it's also notorious for the double cheeseburger is the same.
That's
everywhere.
true. That's right.
Even if the actual items you can order.
Yeah, as opposed to Italy being hey, getting Italian pizza, you have to have the tomatoes from Italian tomatoes because that's what makes it pizza. McDonald's is hey, whatever you eat has to previously have been frozen because that's what they're all going to taste like. So
otherwise it's not McDonald's.
Yeah,
okay.
so if it was fresh technically and never frozen, it won't taste the same. Which
it's
sure,
not proper McDonald's.
That's a good business model because you can send that shit anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, sweet Coors Light. It just reminds me. Catherine was there's this one I think she was just an Instagram woman, but she just had this Alberta or I don't know, Texas woman who drank Coors Light, and she would just sit around and be like, "Oh, get yourself a Coors Light," and she would just say it all the time. And that's the only thing I can think about when I drink Coors Light.
It's just the rest of the episode is just gonna be us saying that. So.
Get yourself a Coors Light. All right, so back to things. All right, so basically we talked about the entire showcase, just about. But the thing that did seem to be missing was things about Innistrad.
2021 stuff.
2021 stuff. There are a few teeny tiny things, but I thought we might get some werewolf stuff, but not really.
You wanted some Midnight Hump. I got no Midnight Hump.
There was no Midnight Hump in this showcase. I wanted them to showcase it. There is a product that so we've talked about this a lot. So wanting to have the draft experience of being in a block set again is something that we've wanted. And we were wondering how they were going to deal with draft in Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, and if they were going to draft together eventually, or what. Well, instead of just letting you buy the regular booster packs and smashing them together, how about you buy a new booster pack that is them smashed together? How about that?
Yeah. So this is the Innistrad double feature, which I think is an awesome name.
It's a really cool name, especially from someone who loves movies, and specifically double features.
Made me think of you as soon as they said it. I was like, Zach's going to love this.
I was like, oh, fuck, this is cool. Though I like the idea. So what it is, well, Jeff, do you want to talk about what it is?
Yeah, so double feature is just a pack that contains some cards from both, I guess, and it's curated to provide a draft experience. So it's a lot like reminds me of the remastered sets when they remastered blocks.
On
Arena. You know, they redid Kaladesh, and that was like Kaladesh and Aether Revolt put together and then curated into a draft experience. And from what I understand, it's going to be the same.
That I didn't think about it like that. That's a good way of thinking of it. That makes me like it a bit more. Basically, what they were saying is because it's a double feature, because it's the monster movie set or like the old kind of gothic horror stuff. This is a set that has both of the different cards, but they're going to have like monster movie treatments on some of the cards, which makes me very excited because some of those old posters are really cool.
Oh, those old posters are awesome. Yeah. And I can already imagine cards in that aesthetic. It's like such a good fit.
Yes. All the OG stuff from this was in like the silent movie era into other things. Like the first werewolf transformation in cinema was like a silent film in black and white and all that kind of stuff. So seeing some of these cards be turned into this stuff gets me excited. It reminds me of like film history classes I would take, and I'm so down, like so down.
This must have been how the metalheads felt when like the Kaldheim stuff with the old school metal album arts was coming out. Like
absolutely,
which also were freaking awesome. So
which we non-metalheads, I don't know is that a term that they like? I don't know.
I don't know if that's like if they don't like that term or not. But
I have no idea. Anyway, people that like metal music
enthusiasts.
I guess just to cover all our bases. Who knows? Even though I'm not part of that community, I thought those were awesome. So I'm sure there were people like you don't have to be someone who went to film school to look at a poster and be like, that's cool, and then see a card that's like, oh, that's like that poster I saw. That's cool. Like,
if you are, Magic didn't do their job right. If you have to have gone to film school to appreciate it.
So I think it's cool. It does make me a little sad because I was hoping we'd be able to just have a draft format where you just kind of mix them together. But this is a product that's probably going to be on Arena, I'm assuming. Like, this is the type of thing that they would have some sort of event or whatever for.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, I don't see them doing this without being like, oh, by the way, you can also put them together. This maybe for a weekend or whatever. Or it's a FNM.
There's just no reason not to, because, like, all the cards are programmed in anyways.
Exactly.
You just have to tell the thing which ones are in this set.
Exactly. So, doesn't seem too difficult. Honestly, with like Midnight Hump, I don't think I saw anything like. And we're just gonna call it that now. I think that's what's just gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But with Midnight Hump, we didn't have like any new cards revealed. I think the one weird thing in Crimson Vow is that they were discussing how Olivia Voldaren is the bride, and it's her day, and that the groom is to be announced.
Oh, so it's not Soren.
Well, it's not totally true. It could be Soren. They just don't want us to know that yet.
I mean, Soren's the super obvious candidate, so if they're
Super
saying
obvious.
it's a secret, then it can't be him, right?
No, it seems like they didn't want anyone to guess that when they just, but they slapped Soren on everything. Like,
Yeah. This reminds me of when Shadows over Innistrad was out, actually, and they're like, we're not even going to show you the name and like the logo for the next set because we don't want to spoil anything. And everyone's like, it's Emrakul, right? And the set logo looks like Emrakul. Is that why? And they're just like, we don't want it to show you any spoilers. And then they're like, it was Emrakul all along. We're like, yeah, everyone knew that immediately. You drew a bunch of tentacles in every art.
yeah,
In Shadows over Innistrad.
come on. Yeah, I don't know.
Why are people behaving so weirdly? Wait to the next set to find out. Like, well, Emrakul has infected the plane, right?
Yeah,
Is that what
we
happened?
were literally just dealing with 2 of the Titans. We knew one of them was missing.
Yeah, at least let the Eldrazi not be top of my mind when you do
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Like, it was
Like-
literally like Emrakul was missing from the Eldrazi set, and now there's some mysterious thing that's happening in Innistrad, and the tentacles remind me a lot of Emrakul.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So obviously we're not huge fans of the Eldrazi, so which
hate them.
we've already mentioned another time in this episode.
You said we don't want to show. We have to show people that we don't just love everything. So
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
true.
Eldrazi,
Okay.
hate them.
If an Eldrazi set comes out, I will just be saying how great it is because, like, just kidding.
Yeah.
It'll be really hard. I just don't like them. Like, come on. I don't know. Creatures don't have to be that fucking big. Like, you don't have to annihilate my board. I get the. I don't know. I guess it's fine that they're there, but I liked it when there were just 3, I guess, and I didn't really care when there was more stuff. I didn't even like it when there were 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm. That's not even true. It's the first time I saw
we just
one.
don't care about it.
I'm trying to like have some nice spin on it, but I literally I was away from Magic from a long time. I hadn't bought anything out, and I like to do this thing where I would just like buy a booster pack of like whatever set is out and just see what's going on in Magic. So I bought a fat pack back when they were fat packs, which wasn't very long ago. I know that it sounds like it's a flex, but it wasn't that long ago. I bought a fat pack of Oath of the Gatewatch. Is that what that set's called? Right? And
Oh, I was thinking tournament pack. That's why I was like, that's a fucking long time.
no, just fat packs, just fat packs.
I remember tournament packs. Those were awesome.
I also remember tournament packs. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I opened this fat pack of Oath of the Gatewatch, and I got 2 Kozileks. But the whole thing was like, what is all this new mana symbol? And I remember being really pissed about it because, I was like, why would you ever do this? This is dumb. I hate this. This is terrible. I had those Kozileks for a while. They were like $3. I traded both of them off to different friends, being like, fuck this. I hate them. I don't care. Then, of course, they rose in price, and then I should have kept them, and I should have.
After the great commander boom of 2000.
Yeah, but how was I supposed to know Commander was going to get really big? Anyway,
Yeah.
so I kind of wish I still had those to sell them to someone else, but I would never really use them. I wouldn't. It's not like a thing I would like. I don't know. I don't know. They're okay.
Anyways, it's almost certainly Soren, right?
It's definitely okay. So moving back, it's 100% Soren. How is it not Soren?
Yeah. Who else could it be? What other vampire would we be like, oh, damn? You know?
Edgar Markov would be really weird because he's like dead, right? So
Maybe that's it. There you
or
go.
maybe
it's
he's,
Edgar.
I guess maybe he's not dead. He's just really old. Because Edgar is like Soren's grandfather.
Oh, we solved it. It's Edgar. It's not Soren.
It's still joining the families together. I don't know. I don't know much about it.
They said it was like a vampire political power move wedding, so it could be Edgar. There you go.
Yeah, but also like, okay, so didn't most of Soren's? Anyway, I don't want to get too into
I don't
the
know.
story. I don't exactly know.
Edgar is like a commander thing. So
Yeah.
I'm even taking your word on that. Let's just say I'm pretty sure her last name. She'll have the option of taking the last name Markov.
Yeah. I just don't think she will. You know what? Like, Olivia Volderin's for sure going to be like, my last name's Volderin. Your last name's also going to be Volderin. So, I don't know. My family's...
So somehow it's... Yeah.
You're marrying into my family. My family's better than yours. If anyone's going to get a stamp of approval or whatever, like, you want my last name because mine's better than whatever the fuck yours is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was marrying someone whose family was that intense, I'd be like, no, for sure. Like, yeah, I'll take it.
If it's really important to you, I guess I'll take your last name that grants me instant fame and fortune. But
Yeah. I don't know. Zach Voldaren? That sounds pretty good.
that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Heard it here first, folks. Zach is the mystery groom.
I'm the mystery groom. Guess what? Who knew? I'm going to get married to a vampire.
I think you just broke your NDA, though, man. So I don't know if you are anymore.
Yeah. Also, I think Catherine's going to be really mad.
Yeah. Like, it was Voldaren.
It's a vampire. I don't know. Like, she's going to kill me if I don't say yes.
Yeah. You might be getting killed either way.
Yeah, probably. Catherine could do some stuff to me. Anyway. But yeah, basically, that's what happened today. Those are the announcements for the most part.
Yeah, we're just like joking a lot, beating around the bush, because they really didn't say much about Innistrad. The double feature is really all they gave us.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Which is cool. Yeah. They didn't really show.
But, I would have preferred a two set draft format, like you were saying. But I was just like, how do you choose which one gets 2 packs?
Exactly. There was one other thing that was big news specifically for us and something that we have been talking about for a very long time. And when I say very long, I mean like 6 months probably. But
It's a long time.
at some point, we don't exactly know when it's going to happen, but we know that one of the arena opens is going to be draft.
That's right. Yes. I almost forgot about that.
We did get this information. Now, does this mean that we are going to be drafting in pods against other people and then play that pod for the tournament? Probably not. But
No.
we'll be playing. Will we be drafting with other humans?
I think it'll be just like the competitive draft events now, where you draft with other humans.
The premier ones,
And
yeah.
then you play against whoever.
Okay. I mean, like, I was hoping that it might be the news that we are getting draft with friends at some point.
Imagine they're like, it will be draft, and it comes out and it's bot draft, and everyone's like, come on, you son of
Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, oh, great. Then we're fucking playing bot drafts, and then everyone has the same deck.
That was their brilliant solution to the draft problem.
Yeah.
Just draft against bots.
Just draft against bots. Yeah, like,
Everyone's just practicing bot draft for like
forever.
a month. Yeah.
That sounds rough. And then, everyone's deck is going to be the same, basically. And
Bot draft is the worst when it's competitive and when they're not updating the bots constantly, because there's just a few cards that someone figures out, hey, they don't take this card, you could pass it and wheel it. And then there's these busted decks that come out. They post it on Twitter. Everyone knows that now you always just go red blue because they don't take shock for some reason, because their AI doesn't think it's good, and then everyone plays that same deck.
yeah, and then you're just mirror matches for days. So I am excited for this. I want draft is like probably my favorite format. The more I've played, the more I've been like, I just want to draft all the time. Like, that's really what I love doing. That doesn't mean I'm good at it. I just want to do it all the time. But
no, favorite and good at are not the same.
they are very different. But I do hope that this does mean that we are moving, like, the World's Championship is going to be draft. We have to be getting draft with our own pods at some point. Like, our own, you can choose to draft with your friends. Even if it's like Phantom or...
Phantom draft.
Yeah. Like, would they let us do that? Or maybe it's cheaper and you can Phantom draft, but you still have to pay some gems or something?
Yeah,
Like,
if it was like...
there's no way they're
I
going
don't
to just
know,
let you draft for free.
500 gold or something, and then you phantom draft with your friends. Maybe that's a bit expensive, but it's still like,
Would
it's
each
it's
person
big,
have to
it's not
pay
that much.
500? 500 is not very much, because that's 1 day's worth of quests, right?
That's what I mean. Like, if everyone has to put in 500, like, Magic would make a killing off that. And I think a lot of people, like, they would have to price it so that people don't think it's expensive, but...
Yeah. So each person of the 8 would have to put in their 500. You could only fire if there's 8 of you.
You don't get to keep the cards, because what they're worried about is, like, people setting up. Like, I could just go make a new account or whatever and then join your thing and then pass you all the rares, and, like, you just supercharge your account.
That's true.
Because you got to draft with friends. So that's the kind of thing they're worried about. So if it's Phantom,
That makes...
like for a tournament or something.
When we've talked about this in the past, when we talked about this in the past, I didn't realize, I wasn't thinking that you would just have like 3 or 4 random accounts that you could literally, if you had enough devices, draft by yourself and just give one account all the rares. I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, and that's the type of stuff they have to balance, right? It's obviously a cool feature that most people would use honestly, but there are enough people like that would try to benefit from it and kind of screw the system over that.
Yeah, but what about MTGO? They still draft like
MTGO, like, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think you can like get your 8 friends together and draft on MTGO.
Oh, really? You just have to join a draft. Oh, wow. So
I've never heard of that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
like I think Wizards employees and stuff can run drafts on MTGO where they only invite people or whatever. At least, and certainly not where you would get to keep the cards. MTGO wouldn't let you do that.
All right. Well, we're not getting that, so I don't know. We don't have to talk about it too much, but
yeah.
I still hope. Still hoping.
Yeah, but I do think it's great that we're moving towards this draft competitive scene, I guess. Like, now that competitive Magic isn't a thing, really, they're willing to let draft be a bigger part of, I don't know, the community or the ecosystem. And so that's kind of great. Because before it was like, oh, it's always constructed, because constructed is like the competitive side of things. And now it's like, well, there is no competitive side. So sure, yeah, they'll play draft at the World Championships, and we'll let them play the Arena Open for draft.
But how is draft not competitive, though? Like, it can be 100% competitive.
It's just because, like, when they were streaming these things, they got less viewers when they did draft than when they did constructed, right? So when it was a big deal to them, oh, the Pro Tour numbers are way down during the draft portion than the constructed portion. Now it's like, well, whatever, we're not doing a Pro Tour.
Because maybe the draft is really fun, but watching them play isn't as fun.
Or the opposite. Like, people don't like watching people draft. I don't know. But
or people don't like it.
I liked the draft portion of the Pro Tours, personally.
I've just gone back and watched Ben Stark draft and play his deck and the whole thing, and loved it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's great. So, I mean, obviously I'm not everyone, so... If I was everyone, I'd probably be like Emrakul or something, where I could just control everyone's mind and turn them all tentacly.
If you were everyone, or if everyone was you.
Yeah, exactly. We Rakul, I'm Rakul. We're all Emrakul. Yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that whole thing. Jeff, with that, I'm gonna crush this last silver beer, and then I think it's time to start rating some for our last call.
Let's do it.
All right, Jeff, you ready for the big reveal?
Oh, yeah. What's the last silver beer on the menu?
We got a Bud Light.
Bud Light. Another one that just had to be on here.
Of course. Well, we did Coors. We had to do Bud. Bud's the king of beers, right? So Bud Light is like the best. Also, I will have to say there's one thing about this beer that I enjoy quite a bit, and makes me want to order it a lot, is I am, if you didn't know, a big fan of Toy Story. So I love some Bud Light beer. Bud Light beer to the rescue.
I was like, what? That was like Toy Story.
Yeah. Bud Light beer. Yeah. Bud Light beer to the rescue. Love it. Anyway, so let's see. Bud Light. This beer, it's like 4%. I think online when I was looking at it, it said it's 4.2%, but that's not what it says on the can. So I'm gonna believe what the can says. This
beer 4.0 on mine.
Yeah, same with me. So Bud Light was first introduced in 1982 as Budweiser Light, but obviously now it's exclusively known as Bud Light. And that happened actually in 1984. So fairly quickly, people were like, Bud Light, that's what it is. And there are a bunch
This is what you should have called your beer.
Yeah. There are a bunch of different versions of it now. There's a bunch of flavored ones, but everyone knows Bud Light. Everyone knows all these beers, basically. And that's the point of us drinking them right now.
And hey, my particular one is donating in support of the Rainbow Railroad. So that's cool.
That is nice. So, good. Thanks, Bud. This Bud's for you. That's one of their commercials, I guess, or something.
Right. One of their many commercials.
I guess going through this, I didn't realize that we went from like oldest to newest. That's kind of funny. I didn't mean to put that together.
Completely unintentionally, actually.
I was looking.
I mean,
them up.
I guess you picked the order, so.
I did pick the order, but that was not the. I mean, I didn't really mean to do that, so. But we did. All right.
So it is time for my story about this. So
Okay.
We picked these 4 beers because basically we went camping this weekend, like we said, and we wanted to bring a bunch of silver beers, and that's where we got the idea for this whole thing and everything. And so we each picked 2 beers, and I think I went first and then sent you mine so that you wouldn't get the same ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I picked up Blue and Coors Light, and then you got PBR and Bud Light. So anyways, we had these giant coolers filled with this stuff, and then we get home, and you still had some of yours and whatever. And so I go to the store. When I go to the store today to pick up the ones that I still needed, so the ones that you got, which were the Bud Light and the PBR, they had this big, like, macro beer section, right? But I could only buy PBR and Bud Light in 6-packs. There was no option to buy singles. But of course, for Blue and Coors Light, readily available in singles. Those were no problem. There were singles everywhere. But for Bud Light and PBR, I had to buy a 6-pack. So I just want to let you know the sacrifices that I make for this show.
Okay.
I had to buy 12 beers instead of 2.
Oh, you had to buy 12. I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
that you just ripped open one of the 6-packs and you just
No,
pulled them
I
out.
asked the guy. I was too nice to do that. I asked the guy if I was allowed. Like, do you sell this in single? If I rip one open and bring it up, can I do that? He said no. So then I just bought 12 beers.
Wow. Wow. All right. I'll give you sacrifice. You
I know.
have, now you
I
have
know.
too
I
much
took one
beer.
for the team. I had to load my fridge up with beer.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying, like, I still have a bunch from when we went camping, and I need help finishing those because apparently you were just drinking your own beer the whole time. I had a bunch that you could have just taken. I don't know.
This guy's crap out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually went specifically to a beer store because I was worried about that happening to me. Mm-hmm. And the beer store had both Coors and Labatt Blue just right there, ready to pick up. And I
just remember the LCBO sold individual macro brews. Like, that's something I've noted before as being odd. So I was like, oh, yeah, I know my local LCBO sells them. And they do, and they sell almost every single macro brew in singles, but not Bud Light and not PBR.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. How weird. But anyway.
They're like, would you like a Moosehead? Would you like
anything else?
Canadian? Like, we'll sell you one of those. I'm like, no, I'm very particular about my beer.
Yeah.
It really has to be PBR and Bud Light.
And Bud Light, and that's it. You didn't even throw the podcast in there, just be like, hey, also, if you want to listen, you could.
Oh, yeah, I should have done that. It's free advertising.
I have done that multiple times. So, all right. So, we have a rating system. We talked about this a little bit before. Normally, this is where we explain what the rating system is. Of course, today we are just doing silver beers, which is second to last. These are the beers that you actually drink and not the ones you throw away like bronze ones. And as you mentioned before, they are a macro brews mainly. But it is time, I think, we are going to take the beers that we have drank tonight or drunk or tried or whatever and put them in an order. Do you want to do bottom first and go up to the top or top down?
Yeah, I think that's more exciting.
We'll do bottom up. So we'll say, because we picked 4 because there were 4, what are they even called? Like ranks? Sub tiers?
Sub ranks.
Anyway,
like, I feel like they're all just your rank, you know? Like,
yeah.
So if I would say my rank, it's like, oh, it's silver 1.
Totally. Okay.
Diamond
For sure.
3,
So we're doing silver 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 4 beers, so that's perfect. Nothing can keep the same level as something else. So if
Okay, we're just gonna rank them here.
we're just gonna rank them, and the top one is the best of the 4.
Yeah.
All right. So some of this is hard tonight because I've had a few and they all kind of taste the same a little bit. But I do remember this is also helpful because we drank some this weekend. So I came into this kind of knowing a little bit of how I felt about them.
Yeah, of course.
But Jeff, would you like to go first with your Silver 4 beer?
All right. In Silver 4 category, which I'll remind you, perfectly respectable tier to be in. But for me, this is Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yep, that sounds about right, because that's the exact same thing for me. PBR, wow, I remember you being fun and cool. Also, I remember you being, if you don't cost $2 at a bar, it's too much.
Overpriced?
Yeah, it's overpriced.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be like my college days too. Like this was always the lowest possible bar because it's like, oh, you always get PPR at the keggers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cheapest thing. And so you were always hoping everything is better than that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's influencing me, but I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt as well. Maybe starting with it felt a little bit better because I started low. But the only thing going for it, it's 4.9, which is higher than almost all of them. And that would make sense if your idea is to
for
get...
a lot of people is like a downside.
Or it's just, yeah, I guess for camping, I would prefer like a 4%. But if you're a kid who just wants to get the cheapest, highest alcohol you could find, PBR is it. And that's probably...
If you're throwing a kegger.
That's where
that hits that sweet spot.
Its real name came from. Silver 3. For me, I'll start for this one.
Okay.
I really think it's Labatt Blue. That's my Silver 3.
All right, so here's where we're going to differ.
Okay.
So my Silver 3, and I hate to do this, so if you're out there, please don't hate me, but if you're a Silver Bullet guy, I'm putting you in Silver 3. This is Coors Light.
Ooh, get yourself a Coors Light. Wow. Yeah. Silver 3 for Coors Light.
So now we should do the Silver 1, because if we tell you what the Silver 2 is, our astute listeners will figure out what we're rating Silver 1.
Yeah, but I think they're smart enough. Like, it's fine. It's okay to do the runner-up and then you know who wins. Like, I think that's fine.
Yeah, all right.
But I would like to say that going from PBR to Labatt Blue just didn't feel like anything really changed. It's fairly...
Oh, damn.
Maybe there was a little bump up, but I was like... I didn't really...
Harsh burn.
This might really sting when we go to this next one, because I actually don't know what yours are. I think you know what mine's are, but... all right, so...
I think I do.
For Silver 2, Jeff, what's your Silver 2?
All right, so this is going to explain the shock. For me, Silver 2 award here goes to Bud Light.
Ooh, buddy. All right, so this is the fun shock because my Silver 2 is Coors Light.
Yeah, which means... no shock for me there, yeah. Bud Light's your number 1.
My number 1 is Bud Light, and yours is...
Labatt Blue, baby.
Labatt Blue. Wow.
And again, I don't know if it's like a thing, because, like, you know, I drank a lot of this in high school. Or, I mean, once I turned of proper drinking age, which would have been after high school, certainly.
For sure. For our,
you know,
like,
it's like a little bit of nostalgia factor, because I honestly don't know if I've had it since then. So it's like...
Yeah, honestly...
this isn't as bad as I thought.
I don't think... I cannot remember drinking Labatt Blue ever. I probably have.
Right.
I just don't remember it at all. And I was really surprised that drinking both of the light beers, I was like, it's a fight between both of them. And Bud Light really... I was thinking it was going to be Coors something, because I do enjoy like a Coors Banquet, I feel. So you had said there was rice in this. There's rice in Bud Light, or Budweiser. And I definitely read that in my research today, as I was just kind of Googling beers that I've never Googled before. But it's on the can. It says it's brewed using the choicest, which is a weird word, I didn't know, the choicest hops and barley malt. So I was like, I've never thought about rice in it, but it does have a sweeter tone to it, and for whatever reason, I like having that sweetness. More than kind of I think PBR was giving me like a dusty note that it was like a little off. I don't know if this was like where I bought a bunch of them for camping, and it was in a place where I didn't expect a lot of people to drink PBR, so I was wondering if it was just old PBRs there. But I was getting like this dusty feel, like it's just kind of stale. And Bud Light felt
It's not what you want.
fresh and a little sweet, which I didn't think I would like, but I did. So, funny taste. It was fun to taste them all together. I've never done this before, right? Have you done this?
Yes, it was fun. Yeah,
It was fun to taste them back to back, to be like,
it's like the Coke Pepsi challenge or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, and you have like RC Cola and all the other colas or whatever. But I've never thought about seeing which one I would like, because I just thought in general they were all going to be the same, and they're kind of just like water / piss or whatever. But they do have subtleties that are a little bit different. Like Coors felt a bit lighter than the Labatt Blue and PBR, where to me they obviously to me both of the blue ones felt similar, and Bud Light I think just tasted the most different. But yeah, this was super fun. I definitely want to do more of these Silver Series, so that's why we're probably going to do more.
that was a lot more fun. And like you're saying, I did notice more of a difference in them than I thought. Just want to say here on my Bud Light can, I'm seeing brewed by Labatt Brewing Company. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I have nothing against Labatt. I just didn't like this beer very much. But
it's a win for Labatt.
Yeah, which is funny because like in my rank, most of the time when I'm ranking stuff, if it's a higher percentage, I prefer it. But in these ones, I liked the lower percentage ones.
It's funny that you were talking about freshness and stuff too, because you ranked them in reverse chronological order.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah, it's weird.
Our joke about the beer actually being from when it was
Brewed,
is like,
it
did
actually
you believe that, Zach? Is that why you're saying this one's the freshest?
No, I understand that beer doesn't have to be as old as when the first time somebody made it. I do get that. But it's funny, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just kind of put them in the order I thought I was going to rank them subconsciously. But
oh, true, maybe you saved the best for last.
Yeah, I kind of saved the best for last. But anyway, yeah, that's. I love that our rankings were so different too.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, fuck PBR, fuck that beer.
That's PBR is not winning.
It's not good. It's not good. I'm sorry that you have 5 more in your fridge. That's rough. That's a bit bad.
Yeah, I will get through them. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
It's for the show, so
Yeah, exactly. It's for the show. But anyway, so now I don't even know.
I think Bud Light and Labatt Blue ended up winning this one.
They did. Oh, right. So this is what we're gonna do. Each tier gets a point percentage depending on where it goes. So Silver 1 beers get 4 points to make it really confusing. Silver 1 gets 4, Silver 2 gets 3, Silver 3 gets 2, and Silver 4 gets 1.
Hey, don't blame us. If Arena had said Silver 4 was the highest silver tier, then
they'd get more.
This would all make sense.
Yeah, unless we switch it so that it makes it easier, and then whichever beer has the least amount of points wins.
Yeah.
We don't need to do
would
golf.
think that as a disc golfer.
Yeah, we don't have to do golf rules. Okay, so Labatt Blue and Bud Light got... Actually, in this scenario, that means that Bud Light got more points.
Bud Light won, and then Labatt Blue came second. I think.
Yeah, because I ranked it number 1, and you ranked it number 2, so that it got 7 points altogether, and Labatt Blue got 6.
Right, and then Coors Light got 5, and
PBR got 2. Fuck you, PBR. Sorry, I don't mean to be so negative, but whatever.
Yeah. All the hipsters out there are shutting off the show.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming on this journey with us in our new adventure into silver beers, because we thought that they were underrepresented in our show, and we want to make sure that they also get a ranking, because ultimately we just want to rank every beer that's out there. So. And
before you ask, no, we will not be doing a bronze series, because the point is you throw those out.
Yeah, because I don't even... I know like one bronze beer off the top of my head. And no.
I know which one you're thinking of.
Yeah, I know what you are. Anyway, Jeff, I think it's closing time.
Closing time.
Wow.
Gotta keep you on your toes.
Oh, we just didn't. Wow, we just didn't. Okay.
Neither of us sang the song.
And no song tonight. Anyway, if you would like to reach us and tell us which beers are your favorite silver beers and which ones you think should be part of the next silver series, you can always reach us at Arena Regulars on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, also look for us on Arena, probably in silver tier, under the username Arena Regulars Podcast.
If you want to talk to me personally, you can find me at Zulberg, that's Zeulberg on Twitter and Instagram. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at BluesBrewsMTG, spelled just like it sounds.
If you like this podcast, we would love to hear your reviews. That would be super awesome. You can just direct message us if you want, but also it'd be really helpful if you put it on iTunes and on the Apple Podcast. Follow us on Spotify and Stitcher and all the places that you're listening to this podcast. We'd love the support. It seems like we've been growing some viewers, so it's really wonderful to have you with us, and we are excited for you to come with our silver series and find out what the best camping beer is, because that's going to be a new goal of ours.
Yeah, and let us know what you thought of it, because we had a blast, but we hope you did too.
I had a blast. And also, if you've never done this before, sit down with a bunch of beers you think are trash. Not trash. Okay, sorry. Silver is not trash. Bronze is trash.
Yeah.
Sit down with a bunch of beers that you've always overlooked and taste them together, because you might find things in them that you didn't think were there. So,
yeah,
it's definitely a good time. This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that when Olivia Voldaren demands that you marry her, you say yes and you take her last name.
Good night. All right, that's fine.